Maximalist? Minimalist? Who made up these trendy terms? And do we have to be one or the other? I don't think so. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I want to talk about those terms, maximalist and minimalist. They just seem to be all over the internet, and it's almost like you're either one or the other. Well, I disagree with that. You can find a balance in everything. Now, maybe it depends on your definition of what a maximalist or a minimalist is. It could be different for everyone. For some people, being a maximalist, they have stuff everywhere. They just like to be surrounded by all their stuff. And they like big, bold, bright colors, things like that. And that could come across as cozy and warm, or it could come across as very overwhelming depending on the degree of it. Where minimalism, which is kind of bare bones, you kind of strip your house of pretty much everything, and that feels, cold and kind of sterile to me. That's like the opposite extreme. Well, it doesn't have to be extreme in either direction. Some people just love their stuff and they want it around them. They don't want to let go of it. And that's okay. If that's how you feel, then you're fine to be that way. It's your life and your choice. And then there are other people who just get to a point where they can't stand a lot of stuff anymore. They want to declutter. They want to pare down. They want to have minimal things in their home. And that's okay too. Neither one of them are wrong. It's just whatever works for you. Why is it now in today's world there are all these labels on everything? We are labeled. We're called a maximalist or a minimalist. I just don't get that. I don't know why that stuff has to start. And I'm not saying that there aren't any either way. I have seen some videos online where they consider themselves a minimalist, and their homes are barren. They really are. They are stripped down to just the very bare necessities. Now, me personally, I could not live that way. I would never choose to live that way. And then I've seen other homes that are just stacked from floor to ceiling with, just boxes and piles and stuff everywhere. And that kind of maximalism is way too much for me. I would just suffocate in that much clutter. So I find myself to be more in the middle. Now, I've talked about decluttering before, and I have to bring that up again because what I've done is to declutter. And that does not mean get rid of everything you own. That just means streamlining your life, simplifying your life, and just paring things down. So I don't have as many decorations. I don't have as many sheets and towels and coffee cups and things like that I used to have. And talking about coffee cups, I love coffee cups. And I used to have, probably 30, maybe a couple more than that. And a year or 2 years ago, I got rid of all of them except for 6 to 8. I figured that was a good number because there's only 2 of us living in this house that drink coffee. And then you want to have a few extras for when you have company. So that seemed reasonable to me. The same with like sheets. I used to have, too many sets of sheets. Some of them were getting old and worn out and should have been discarded or donated a long time ago. And I finally made the decision if I had 2 sets of sheets for each bed in the house, that was plenty. In fact, to be honest, what I normally do is take my sheets off, wash them, and put the same ones right back on. So that made real good sense to me, and I was glad to be able to free up space in my linen closet and not carry all that stuff. So I don't want anyone to feel bad for how they live, whether they call themselves a maximalist or a minimalist. You do you. It's perfectly fine. It's your life, and you need to enjoy it whatever way you choose to enjoy it. But I just want to say that you don't have to put that label on yourself. That's the part that bothers me. Don't label yourself. Just state you enjoy what you have, or you enjoy having nothing, and that's it. That's just the way you want to surround yourself in your home. You don't have to have a label attached to it. Now, there are some areas in my home that, boy, I guess I'm more of a maximalist without the label, and that would be my closet and the garage. I don't know about you guys, but oh my gosh, no matter how much I donate and purge and try to get rid of clothes in my closet, I just seem to get more and put in it. It's always kind of bulging. And it's a very consumer-driven society that we live in. So you find yourself going out there and buying more new tops or more pants or shorts or whatever you like. And so it quickly gets filled back up. And I know the key to that is if you bring something in, take something out. And Dave's downfall area is the garage. He has every tool you could think of, every little part and piece to work on plumbing or electrical or this or that. And how often does he use them? Not often at all. But he has a hard time getting rid of his tools and things that he's had for years that stay in the garage. So we need to work on those 2 areas. The ways that I have pared down and came to a balance in my life was I don't do Christmas decorating like I used to. I put up a tree and maybe a wreath on the door, but I don't put stuff all over the house, and I did do that for many, many years. Another way that I've kind of pared things down was like dishes and pots and pans and baking dishes and things like that. You accumulate so many over the years. Then when you get to be in your 70s like I am, you don't have a big family to cook for. Well, I don't cook at all, but you know what I'm talking about. So you don't need all those dishes or 5 big cookie sheets. One will do. So we got rid of a lot of that kind of stuff. I always loved having a lot of like knickknacks and things sitting out on the coffee table or end tables and things like that. But now I don't want to have to dust them all and clean them all and have that be a distraction in my life. So I've pared that down. Again, not to the point where you would say it's very minimal, but it's definitely not in excess. It's manageable. There are ways in my life that I want to maximize my life, but it's not in things. It's not in stuff in my house. I want to maximize my life by having the freedom to do the things that I want to do and that I can enjoy. And so you can't do that when you have, all this stuff in your house. You're always tied up with cleaning and rearranging and getting rid of things and moving things around. I want to maximize my time with my family and with Dave to do things that we enjoy, to just be able to relax and at the spur of the moment go somewhere or do something and not be tied down to, oh, I can't do that because I have so much to do. No, those days are gone. I lived that way when I was younger and I had kids, I had commitments, and you have to have the time to take your kids here and there and to go to their school functions and be involved in their school activities and everything. I don't have any of that anymore. So I don't want that holding me back. When you're an older person, you don't know how much time you have left. How do I want to spend it? That is a very conscious thought for me. I want to spend it enjoying my life. Now, I have to tell you, I spend a lot of time cleaning, but that's because I enjoy it. It's almost like a hobby for me. I mean, I truly enjoy it. It's not because I have to. And working in the garden now, I have just a small garden that is very new to me, but I want to spend time out there pulling the weeds and just looking at it and maybe finding a different plant to put in the ground and things like that. I don't want to be in my own home and feel overwhelmed and just look around everywhere and just feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do and I have all these drawers to clean out and all these closets to straighten up and all that. It's just not what I want for my life. I want to maximize the time in my life and the joy in my life. And like I said, having time to spend with family. That matters to me. So that's where I find myself, kind of in the middle. I'm not one or the other. And if somebody finds a label for a person who's in the middle, I don't even want to hear about it because I don't want any labels for me or for you, for anyone else in how you choose to live. You have the right to make that decision for yourself, and don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. Well, I would love to know how you feel. Do you consider yourself one of those terms, maximalist or minimalist? Some people like to live that way, and that's okay. Or do you find that you have decluttered and pared down, but you still, have a comfortable life? It's manageable for you. I think it's a discussion worth having. Well, that's all I have today, but I'm going to leave you with an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip today comes from Ecclesiastes 3:6. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. I like to use that scripture in reference to this part of my life. I have had a lot of stuff in my life, too much, and talk about a time to keep and a time to throw away. Oh my gosh, I had to get rid of a lot. And, the same with time to search and a time to give up. Sometimes you can have so much that you can't even find what you're looking for. And you search all over the house, you can't find it, and then you go out and buy it again, and eventually you find what you were looking for to begin with, and now you have two. I don't want to live like that. Now, in that verse of Ecclesiastes 3, it lists many things that there is a time for, because, as it says, there's a time for everything under the heavens. And I really believe there is, because as we do continue to age, sometimes we have to make changes that we may not want to change. Sometimes we have to get rid of things for safety reasons in our home. Our home is too crowded. That could cause falls and trips and accidents. So it's time to remove some things for those reasons. And sometimes we just have so much that we really lose sight of what really matters. What in our life is of such importance. And if you had to make a list, at the top of that list would be the people you love in your life, your family, your spouse, your grandchildren, your friends, and so much more. It wouldn't be the stuff that you hold on to. That's just so minor in the grand scheme of things. So maybe if we look at it in that light, it will help us, if we have too much, to start getting rid of some things. Because the time is going to come for all of us when something happens. We either, fall or something, and we have to go to a nursing home. And we're not going to be in our home anymore. And someone else is going to have to go in and go through all that excessive stuff. Or we could just break a leg or something and be bedridden for a couple months where we can't do anything. And that would be a terrible feeling, to lay there and feel so overwhelmed and then feel so guilty and so bad knowing that other people were having to come in to take care of all this stuff. So it's just something to think about. Take the time to do a little bit of reflecting, and maybe it'll be easier to make some decisions in that area of your life. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.